Most house flippers never do this math, and the ones who finally do stop thinking about a membership as something that should be built later and start understanding why it needs to be built now. Give me the next few minutes and I'll walk you through the reoccurring revenue math method. It's a simple framework that house flipping investors can use to see what a membership income could look like running alongside an active flipping business. And more importantly, what that income does to the pressure on every single deal in progress. Want the membership creation template so the foundation can be mapped out and the numbers run for a specific situation today? Drop math in the comments and I'll send it over. My name is Sandra. I'm the owner of the Real Estate Growth Program. It's a step-by-step system that helps house flipping investors build membership income and a community to support them around the knowledge and experience that they already have, so that when the market turns, the income does not disappear with it. In video 1, I shared the story behind this program. The August 2025 flip. The market crashed mid-rehab, the house that sat for 6 months. The deal fell through twice, and while the membership is not what gets built after success, it's what gets built during the flip. This video is about the math that makes that argument impossible to ignore. As always, I'm going to share one thing that can be implemented immediately. Here's a financial reality that sits underneath almost every house flipping business, regardless of how many deals they've closed and how experienced the investor is. The income arrives in one lump sum, and it arrives at closing. And between the closing and the next one, the mortgage does not pause. The carrying cost does not pause. The rehab and the properties do not pause. The family expenses don't take a month off until the pipeline gets refilled. The income is transactional and periodic. The expenses are continuous and consistent. And that gap between the money that comes in and the money that goes out is a source of financial pressure that makes every mid-flip complication feel like a crisis. And that gap between how the money comes in and how it goes out is the source of the financial pressure that makes every mid-flip complication feel like a crisis rather than a problem that can be solved. But here's the part that makes the financial pressure genuinely dangerous. And it is the part that almost nobody in the real estate investing education space talks about honestly. Financially stressed flippers make worse decisions. Not because they're less skilled or less capable, but because financial fear narrows thinking. It creates urgency where patience is needed. It pushes toward a bad offer acceptance because waiting feels impossible. It makes the contractor negotiation harder because the leverage is gone. It turns a manageable problem into an emergency, and emergencies in real estate are expensive. The recurring income from a membership does not just add a number to the monthly bottom line. It changes the quality of every decision made during the flip itself. That is the real argument for running the math. The most common financial strategy for managing income inconsistency in flipping business is to keep more capital in reserve. Save more between deals. Keep a larger cash cushion. Be more conservative with renovation budgets to protect the margins. These are all reasonable approaches, and for investors with significant capital reserves, they work until the market shifts. The problem with the capital reserve as a sole financial safety net is that it depletes. A deal that takes 6 months longer than projected, a market that softens while the renovation property sits, a buyer who backed out twice. These are all theoretical scenarios. These are the scenarios that deplete reserves faster than any financial model predicted. And when the reserves are gone, there is nothing left between the flip and genuinely dangerous financial position, except the hope that the next deal closes faster. The membership income stream is not a replacement for the capital reserve. It's a layer underneath the reserve that keeps it from having to be the only thing standing between stability and crisis. A capital reserve has a ceiling because it is finite. It is not absorbed as a certain number of consecutive bad outcomes. And the moment it's gone, the financial stress that was designed to prevent arrives anyway. And it arrives at the worst possible moment, when the ability to make clear decisions is most needed. Recurring membership income does not have the same ceiling, because it does not deplete when a deal goes sideways. It continues to come in the first of the month, whether the closing happens that month or not, whether or not the market cooperated, whether or not the buyer followed through. That consistency, income that is not tied to a specific outcome on a specific property, is what changes the financial dynamic of the entire flipping business. Not by eliminating the risk of a bad deal, but by ensuring that a bad deal does not have the power to destabilize everything else. That is what the math is designed to illustrate. And that is why running it, even as a rough estimate for a specific situation, changes how the membership gets prioritized. So there's a 3-step solution to the recurring revenue method. Step 1, start with the monthly expense baseline, not the dream income number. Most people approach membership math from the top down. They think about what they want to earn and work backwards from the member count. The more useful starting point, especially for flippers who is building this as a safety net rather than a primary income source, is the bottom-up approach. What is the monthly number that would meaningfully reduce the financial pressure of being mid-flip? Not the number that replaces all income, the number that covers the baseline, the mortgage, the utilities, the family expenses that continue regardless of whether the closing happens that month. For illustration purposes, and this is an example only, not a projection or a typical result, that number for many household budgets might sit somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000 a month. That is a target the monthly membership math needs to work toward, not a lifestyle income, a stability income. Step 2, run the membership math against that baseline. Once the monthly stability target is defined, the membership math becomes straightforward. Using illustrative numbers only, the membership priced at, let's say, $47 a month, and they get 50 members, that generates $2,350 per month. Membership rate is priced at $27 a month for 100 members, generates $2,700 per month. Membership priced at $97 a month with 30 members generates $2,910 per month. None of these are large audiences. 50 members is not massive community. It is a small, engaged group of people who find genuine value in what was experienced, in what an experienced flipper knows, and chooses to pay monthly for access to that knowledge and support. The question is not whether these numbers are possible. The question is what they do to the financial dynamic of the flipping business when they are running in the background. If $2,000 a month is coming in from the membership, regardless of what happens on the current flip, does that financial pressure of a buyer backing out feel the same? Does the urgency to accept a lower offer than the property deserves feel the same? Does the isolation of figuring out a mid-flip complication alone feel the same? Does the isolation of figuring out a mid-flip complication feel the same? The answer to all these questions is no. And that change in the financial pressure, in decision-making quality, in the ability to wait for the right outcome rather than accepting the available one, is worth more than the membership income itself. Step 3, calculate the compounding effect over 12 months. The third step in the math is the one that makes the case for starting now rather than later, because the membership income compounds in a way that flip income cannot. A flip closes once. The income from the flip is received once. It does not compound. A membership that retains members month over month compounds continuously. 50 members in month 1 who renew in month 2, or 50 members plus many new members joined in month 2. The baseline grows rather than resets. Using the illustrative example of 50 members at the $47 a month membership over a 12-month period with reasonable retention, that is not a guaranteed outcome, but an illustration of how compounding membership math works. The recurring revenue base grows as the membership grows. The flip income remains transactional. The membership income builds. That is a structural difference between two income streams. One resets after every deal. The other compounds across every renewal cycle. And building the one that compounds now, during the flip, rather than after it, is what the Real Estate Growth Program is designed to make possible. The reoccurring revenue math works because it reframes the membership from an aspiration into a financial strategy. It is not built around the dream of passive income or the fantasy of a business that runs without effort. It is built around the specific and urgent reality of what happens to a flipping business and to the decision made inside it when there is no income that survives a bad deal. The math does not require a large audience, a polished brand, or years of experience teaching others. It requires clarity on who you serve, what to offer, and the system to bring the right people in, which is exactly what the Real Estate Growth Program is built to provide. The membership creation template is the starting point for that clarity. It walks through every component of the membership foundation, the audience, the topic, the transformation members will achieve, and the structure that makes it sustainable. So the first step is filling in the framework rather than building one from scratch. Want the membership creation template to run this math for the specific situation and start mapping out the foundation. Drop math in the comments and I'll send it over. The template walks through every section of the membership foundation, the audience definition, the topic selection, the membership transformation, and the structural compounds that make the recurring income sustainable rather than fragile. Investors who go through it typically walk away with a complete membership concept mapped out and a clear picture of what the recurring revenue potential could look like for the specific situation. Built entirely from knowledge and experience already accumulated through the flipping business. No guesswork about where to start. No blank page, no wondering whether the topic is the right one or whether the audience is large enough. Every section is already structured. The work is filling it in. If that sounds useful, drop math below and the template will be on its way. In the next video, I'll walk through the content clarity framework, the system that takes knowledge already accumulated through flipping houses and turns it into a complete content plan that never requires staring at a blank page again. So the membership has the content foundation it needs to attract and retain members from day one. Make sure this page is followed so that video comes through when it's posted. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. Hope you got value from it. Leave me a comment, let me know what you're struggling with, and most importantly, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. You do not want to miss any of the future trainings. I'll see you tomorrow.